Joining us today at the Rockpit is Don Broco frontman Rob Damiani. Welcome to Australia and welcome to the Rockpit, Rob.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for having
Now,
me.
the big news is that you're about to kick off your world tour here in Australia next week. Now, you were last here at the end of the Amazing Things tour in 2023, and you've stood strong to a promise that you made that you'd come back and start the world tour here. I love it when a band uh, keeps these kinds of promises. Why is it important for the band to do this? And
Well, I think it's always important to try and keep your promises if you can, because it's something that I think a lot of bands and musicians will dish out and say, and not always be able to do. And there's so many factors at play that mean you can't always keep your original touring schedule. That like say off the cuff many years ago and try and do it, and either life gets in the way or release plans change, whatever. But we had an opportunity to honor that promise, so yeah, we kind of did everything in our power to keep it. And we had all these, we've had a number of delays on this record, and things taking longer than they should, and they're behind the scenes there are all these thoughts. We were hoping to have the album out, to be honest, before now. And yeah, there was talk amongst the camp. We were like, should we really be touring right now? Should we have the record done? And we just wanted to get out. I mean, like we kind of set out Australia as our first port of call, because traditionally it's come at the end of a tour. It's usually the last place that gets any love in regards to release plans. And we just had such an amazing time last time we were here that yeah, we wanted to kick things off in Australia this time. And yeah, the album we're still writing it at the minute. We're still finishing it off, but we have some new songs, some new material that we're going to get to play in Australia for the first time, which we're excited about. Some new songs that haven't been released just yet, that we're excited to give the Australian fans the first look at.
absolutely. And you've already dropped the first single with Celophane, which is just massive. How's the response been to that track today?
Yeah, it's been crazy. I can't really think of a better first song back in a long time. Like, the reaction's kind of been overwhelmingly positive, which is always nice. Like, it's within our fan base. There's it's quite a broad fan base, and we, as a band, we kind of release quite a lot of kind of different sounding songs now and then. But going down this kind of heavier route, we know our fans love heavy music. We're a heavy rock band, but there's obviously taste within that. And usually you put out a song, there's always inevitably going to be some people who complain or say, "Oh, I prefer the first album," or or something along those lines. I haven't really seen any of that. I mean, admittedly, we've been too busy to really look at any comments on the plus side. But from the few things we've kind of picked up here and there, and the general sort of feeling from meeting people out and about, it seems like it's done what we wanted to do. It's kind of taken our sound to a new level while still being very true to kind of who we are as a band. So yeah, I think as soon as we wrote this song, we were like, this just feels like a great first song back. It's got punch, it's got energy, it's got swag, it's
Oh, yeah.
got a nice chorus that Matt can get his chops around and blast out. So yeah, we're excited to play it live for the first time in Australia.
Fantastic. Now, if we talk about that and we talk about new music, is this, the preview of what's to come? Is it, or will we get, a mixed platter again of what Don Broco is?
I'd say yes and no again. Yeah, there's definitely That's another reason we picked Celophane as the first song back. It's definitely got a lot of the DNA that makes up this record. Um, but at the same time, there's definitely a lot to get stuck into on the album. Yeah, we touch on a few different sounds. I'd say it's probably more refined, this album as a whole. We've really we kind of narrowed the playing field a little bit purposefully to sort of think one thing that we've always completely let loose when it comes to writing, and just whatever comes. Because I don't think there's any other way we can write. You've got to go with what the songs feel and what they feel they need and the routes they kind of take you on. But we spent a long time writing this album. We kind of wrote more songs, more demos than we've ever written before. So we were able to kind of refine the songs that did make the cut for the album. And yeah, so it's definitely representative, but there's also a lot more to come as well. So, but I think, yeah, if you like Cellophane, you're really going to love the rest of this album.
I mean, the last album, Amazing Things, really probably was, the biggest success that the band has had chart-wise and historically that way. Did that come as a surprise to you that things had built and built and built and then finally blown up with that record?
I'd say, well, again, yes and no. I mean, I think with our band, it's been a real steady growth. When it comes to releases, album sales, ticket sales, playing places further afield. It's been a journey. Our first two records, we didn't really get the opportunity to leave Europe too much, on those albums. Like it's, in our it's kind of been very, very gradual. Like our first album, we barely got outside the UK, and that was really our introduction. Our second album took us further afield, took us across Europe. We got to, I thought maybe we got to actually play Japan. It was one of the first places we actually played, away from the UK and Europe. But it was only until our third record, really, that we got to sort of explore everywhere else and get to come to Australia, got to get out to the US. And yeah, technology kind of knocked the third album, kind of opened the doors to that side of things. So we were all kind of always hoping that once we kind of, jump that hurdle, that Amazing Things would take things a little bit further. So, it definitely delivered on that perspective. I think from a chart success wise in the UK, it was, by far our biggest success. We got a #1 album, which was amazing, but no pun intended. But we also did really work hard for that. We played the industry game and went to the record stores and played the shows and really mobilized our fans behind us, and they were just incredible. Like I think having 3 albums under our belt and building up that trust with fans and a fan base who really have been with us for the full journey. They really got behind that release and actually bought the album, which a lot of people don't do these days. You'll just stream it on Spotify or iTunes or whatever, but people really wanted to support the band and buy the physical record, which is really cool.
Exactly. I mean, if you look behind me, physical product is king. It's
Totally.
it's the only way to consume. I think, and I think the industry has also changed the way that we look at a lot of those sorts of things these days. I mean, I buy vinyl for the purpose of its intention, whereas a lot of these days buy it as an extension, a piece of merch.
Yes, yeah.
I still enjoy nothing more than ripping the cellophane off and having a look at an inner sleeve and studying liner notes and all of those cool things that I did as a kid and that got me right into music. While we're talking about releases, I had revisited the Live from the Royal Albert Hall album, and my God, what a record that is! Sonically, that is just immaculate. I love it. what a vibe. It's very, very rare that you have such an organic sounding live record that captures so much energy. How special was that show for you guys?
Yeah, it that lots of words. Yeah, it might be one of the the most special and kind of nerve-wracking shows I think we've ever played. It really came out the blue as well. I think, we got the offer to do that show with Teenage Cancer Trust in the UK. I think very much like off the back of having the number one record. Um, and it was only we got the date and it was only like a couple of months away. So we didn't really have long to prepare. And it didn't have to be a show with an orchestra. They offered us it's a show to raise money for charity, and they asked if there was anything we wanted to do to make it extra special. And we've just seen so many videos of bands and acts where they've brought in an orchestra or whatever. Or if you're going to do it anywhere, that is the place to do it. So we pulled it together as quickly as we possibly could, and it was real it was all for charity as well. So there was no budget to pay an orchestra. So it was very much like friends of friends and anyone we knew who played the violin, played the cello, had any experience in playing orchestra before. We made the calls, called them up, and everyone was obviously like gassed to get to play the Royal Albert Hall. And yeah, it was just such an incredible, like magical experience, just getting in there, just being, that side of town. I don't really go too much in London, and it's just beautiful, and just sitting there looking at it from the outside and then walking in and just feeling, you can't help but just feel the history and knowing that all the greats have played there. So yeah, it was amazing. I don't think I've ever been that nervous before a show. I was bricking it, and the crowd are like right there as well because it's so high as well. You're so close to everyone. It's just feels like such an intimate performance. While being pretty big. I think it's like it's not the biggest thing. I think it's like 4,000, maybe 3,500, 4,000 people, which is a decent size. But it feels like you're playing to a load of people in your living room because they're right up against you. And to have that power of the orchestra behind us and hear these parts that we literally been working on the week before, finalizing all the parts and nailing them down and finally actually hearing it. There was only one run through before we actually played the show, so it was real like squeaky bum time. It was that excitement of is this going to work? But yeah, it came together and it was just a really successful night, and we raised a lot of money for charity. And yeah, it's a night we'll never forget. So I'm so grateful we got to capture that on record and put the album out. And yeah, I actually listened to it again, some of the songs a few days ago because with Celophane coming out, we were like, we should probably like rejig our like best of Don Broco on Spotify, and we'd forgotten to put that album up there. So I brought that in, and as I was loading it into the Spotify, I was like, revisiting the songs, and just some of the songs really took on a whole new life as well. And some of them you play straight and it's just got a whole new beef and sound, and then some of them really just transform into something else. There's one of the songs on Amazing Things with Easter Sunday, which is kind of one of our favorites. Lesser known. It wasn't a single or anything, and it really came to life with the orchestra. So yeah, I was just getting goosebumps again just listening back to that.
Fantastic. And there is so much to go down a rabbit hole in all of this sort of stuff and music and influences. But primarily, we're here to talk about the tour, and I just want to let people know that obviously the tour starts on September 4 in Brisbane. So you must have your suitcases almost pretty much packed.
I would love to say so, but no, we're literally in the studio right up until the day we go, um, because we are so close to finishing this album. So basically, our Australia tour is in our mind. That is our cutoff. That is where like right, we have to be finished. Um, so yeah, this is the last week of us really finalizing everything we want for the album because I think once we're away for a couple of weeks, you kind of stop the flow. You like it's hard to get back into it. So it's kind of final push now in the studio, getting everything done, finishing the mixes of the songs that we've already recorded, and we haven't even thought about packing yet. So I reckon that'll be the night before.
Absolutely. So it is 5 shows in 6 days. It's quite a grueling schedule. You've got a long flight either side of that, obviously. But for those that haven't witnessed or don't know about a Don Broco show, let the people know what a Don Broco show is all about.
It's about having fun. It's about letting your hair down, um, you know, going there with your mates, going there with by yourself, and making some friends there. It's basically a release. So that's what I always look for when I going to shows myself. It's just being immersed in the moment, and for a heavy rock show, for me, that's like getting in the mosh pit, you know, causing a ruckus, jumping around, singing your heart out, and that's what and as a band we encourage because that's what we really feed off as performers. We've never been able to really like stand still and and play songs. We play them to the best of our ability, which is hopefully okay, but like we can't stand still and just play the songs as the record as we record them. We've got to be rocking out. We kind of again, like seeing the crowd go as nuts as our crowds do. We just feed off that energy and give it right back. So for us, it's that give and take between the crowd and us as performers, and and just feeling that cathartic release that I think everyone needs. If we could do it, I'd go to a show like every week. If I could, because I think it's so important to have these moments, these collective moments of just just going nuts and just enjoying the music. So that's what we really encourage. That's what we live for. And yeah, touring's for us is the best bit about being a band. Playing live's what it's all about. So we always give our all 100% as much as we can every show.
Fantastic. Look, we are out of time, Rob. We could talk for ages, and I hope we get the opportunity to chat again when the album is finally done.
Yeah, that would be great.
Have a bit of a recap on the tour and talk all new things, Don Broco, with you. Have a safe flight. As I mentioned before, tour kicks off in Brisbane on the 4th of September and works its way through to Perth on September 9. Get along. For anybody out there that's watching, make sure you go and buy a ticket. Keep an eye on these guys. They are fantastic. And thank you again for your time, Rob. And we'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Talk soon.
Thanks,
Cheers,
Rob.
then. Bye.
Bye.